know they got some stuff for you.
The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are.
Invasion. Watch for democracies, hypocrisy, philosophies, fear and shock factories, pseudo-fraud mockeries and poppy fields, blocking swinging shots without Moroccan shields. Industry, the mind flow, persons walking bottom wheels, coffin feels empty, buried in the battlefield. Working on the streets is walking in some cattle fields. King Alfred Bluesum, love a mental snoozing, sleepwalking and talking, cell phones are soothing. Minds disappearing, genetic memory erasing. Don't even have a job, but they get you for tax evasion. Hot like a frying pan, crying fam, lying men. Use gadgets, firemen, no loyalty, just lying friends. No credit, debt slaves, walking over paved graves. Enslaved, enraged, marriage to death, prearranged. Mike Soupy Genie, farm tracks bikini. Stupid niggas call my first bucket hat when they see me, but won't ask a thing or drink the water that I bring. But when the Pope comes, they're kissing on the ring. They'd rather drink a rapper's flow from the black fountain. Piper got the dead, lined up in the thousands. Confusion with illusions, infusion with sorcery. Won't give up my birthright no matter what they offer me. No deal. Push the red button, I'm going home. Close my eyes, SNL and Vendor. The fires that we burn roll, make their walls shake. Islamism grand sheet, not spelled like shake. Open minds, not scarred on when you enter my zone. I wouldn't call it murder when I snap the neck of my clone. Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. See this face the harder, no making me a martyr. Sir, I enlarge ya. Aura is my armor when I plant a sheet in my soul.
Thinking like the colonists to know what you are. Started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what you are. Started dropping.
Invasion. Watch for democracies, hypocrisy, philosophies, fear and shock factories, pseudo-fraud mockeries and poppy fields, blocking swinging shots without Moroccan shields. Industry, the mind flow, persons walking bottom wheels, coffin feels empty, buried in the battlefield. Working on the streets is walking in some cattle fields. King Alfred Bluesum, love a mental snoozing, sleepwalking and talking, cell phones are soothing. Minds disappearing, genetic memory erasing. Don't even have a job, but they get you for tax evasion. Hot like a frying pan, crying fam, lying men. Use gadgets, firemen, no loyalty, just buying friends. No credit, debt slaves, walking over paved graves. Enslaved, enraged, marriage to death, prearranged. Mike Soupy Genie, farm tracks bikini. Stupid niggas call my first bucket hat when they see me, but won't ask a thing or drink the water that I bring. But when the Pope comes, they're kissing on the ring. They'd rather drink a rapper's flow from the black fountain. Piper got the dead, lined up in the thousands. Confusion with illusions, infusion with sorcery. Won't give up my birthright no matter what they offer me. No deal. Push the red button, I'm going home. Close my eyes, SNL and Vendor. The fires that we burn roll, make their walls shake. Islamism grand sheet, not spelled like shake. Open minds, not scarred on when you enter my zone. I wouldn't call it murder when I snap the neck of my clone. Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. See this face the harder, no making me a martyr. Sir, I enlarge ya. Aura is my armor when I plant a sheet.
This lawnmowers, got to switch it to somewhere else because we're playing. No, we just want to go back. We just want to take a sec and go back to remind you that people have been on their campaign. People have been on their campaign trying to displace the Moors. Have everybody thinking that Moors is something that it's not. And causing confusion, more confusion than if they would just shut the hell up. But since they don't want to shut the hell up,
like for me, nigga, it took me like 5 years because the Moors had dirted the fucking water. So it took me 5 years to figure this shit out. Like I could have figured this shit out 5 years ago. But like you said with that sovereignty. Alright. Now I know it's more.
right? They've been talking crazy. They didn't just start talking crazy. They've been talking crazy. So because they've been talking crazy, We want to make sure we put it out there, just like with everybody else. We know what type of games you people are playing. We know what type of games you're playing. And you might be able to pull your little whatever on stupid Moors and Moors who don't study. But we're not those Moors. We're not the Moors who don't study. We're not the Moors who don't research. We're not the Moors that are looking at this like this is some religious club. We are a nation. We know we're a nation. We just did an interview the other day with some people in Morocco who want to know what's going on with the Moors. How come they're not interviewing you black guys about some march and picketing? How come the Moors of Morocco are contacting Moorish Americans to find out about the black situation? Why are they intrigued seeing black people in America with a Moroccan flag? And then when we ask them, so, you know Morocco's America too, right? Oh yeah, yeah, we know that. Yeah, we know Morocco's an empire. Yeah, we know that. You know, that's very interesting that you guys have, you know, a holy book and you have a, you know, like, is this a religious? No, this is not religious. This is nationality. This is not a club that people join. This is not a club that people join. This is about birthrights and nationality. So, $13 ago, Raspy Rawls want to make videos. I have a drop. He has a drop on Tarik Bay that would fuck y'all heads up. You hear me? That's that Louisiana. Islam to brother Amazite Bay. We already know to hear me.
Islam, more.
This nigga needs to stop all this lying. This video is about 2 years old. It hurt a lot of feelings 2 years ago, but the truth doesn't give a fuck about your feelings. Here is Taj's attempting to tell you about the religious corporation of the church trying to steal the land. What Taj doesn't know is that we found out that Noble Drew Ali uses the exact same process as the church. This is how I found out about the trust is at the backbone of the system. Moors kept lying, trying to tell everybody their nationality was Moorish American, when your nationality comes from your bloodline. And North America had over 500 nationalities before colonization. This is also why I never tell you what your nationality is and send you to our genealogist, Jessica Danzy, at Change Our Narrative. Everyone does not have the same nationality, but let the Moors tell it, everybody's nationality is Moorish American. Go read an American law book and watch the legal definition of Moor in American law. Then come back and tell us what it reads. Bloodline claims are stronger than religious claims. This is why you hear Moors only talk about allodial title and never Aboriginal title of land. Because the only status on the books that denotes the Aboriginal is Indian, not Moorish. And this is in black and white. Because I haven't said anything since I exposed their lies, I'm starting to see a new resurgence of them on my page, starting that we are Moorish rhetoric in my comments. Please stop that shit, you hear me? Noble Drew Ali did not make a bloodline claim, he made a religious claim. And the paperwork says it clear as day. A set of lips can tell you anything, but that paperwork that was filed will say what it truly is, a religious organization.
This down anyway. House Joint Resolution 2847. And this is where the United States Corporation, the religious corporation of the United States company, which is not the land, understand it's a private religious organization belonging to the folks of Rome. They're going to be stealing all your bank accounts.
Yeah, we see a docket number 1010595. It's a trust by Noble Drew Ali, correct? Now we're going to come here and look at the Recorder of Deeds in Illinois, where Noble Drew Ali opened up that trust. We scroll down, we see the docket number again, and it is an affidavit of organization under the Religious Corporation Act. Isn't the religious corporation the same thing that Tarik Bey just said that the church them used to try to take the land, and the Moors using the same shit to try to take the land? They're using the same scheme that they taught the white folk.
I want you to write this down.
There's a lot more. You got anything before we go in? We could hold the silver bullet, but if you got anything with regard to what he just typed up on his little Instagram page there.
Right. Because I had to really listen to it and put it together, because I had to tell the Green Sheet, I had to calm down and really listen to what he's doing. Because when you really listen to him, it's just a bunch of confusion. That's all he was trying to do, is just start a bunch of confusion. Because we know the foundation is nationality is the order of the day. The prophet said, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality. So before anything, you had to have your nationality. So before the religious organization, you couldn't even come in there without having it known about nationality. You got to get your nationality and stuff in order. So that's what it was all about. It was nationality. It was the order of the day. So with him trying to make it seem like the Moors copied the Vatican and were trying to take over the land by starting a religious organization, like the Moors taught the Europeans. He said that all in one breath, and I'm like, see, that's confusion. Because the Moors who taught were the Moors. We're not Negro, colored, black. He tried, like, we're the Moors. So if we're going around teaching how to set it up, we're not acting like someone else. Like, that was the straight confusion to me. I'm like, did y'all just catch that? How could you say that? How could you say the Moors taught them how to set up a religious organization, and then say Noble Drew Ali was copying the Vatican, who you just said the Moors taught? But Noble Drew Ali is a Moor. He's not Negro, colored, black. So what would be the problem with him doing the same thing his ancestors did, who you just said taught the Europeans how to do that, the Moors? So when he said that, he was talking about in history. And because obviously he knows the Moors taught the Europeans. It was just confusing. I'm like, what did you say that for? So it was just your tone and your emotion behind it that was just causing the confusion. Because you didn't say anything. You just killed yourself. That's why we always say, just let them talk.
Let them talk.
Because that was, what did you just say, brother? That didn't even make any sense. That made no sense at all. You just mad.
Just mad.
You're just mad right now. Just mad. Saying anything. Because you just killed yourself by saying that. The Moors, who the Moors taught, okay? So the Noble Drew Ali is the descendant of that. He's doing what his forefathers and foremothers did. According to what you just said. Even you know that. He knows that. Right. He said it. He said it.
And make sure you like and share this, because these are all the people that the Negroes like, right? The people who are talking crazy against Moors, and then when Moors start saying, "Hey, you can't do that," now we're practicing division amongst our people. FOH, You're not going to talk BS about the master teachers. You're not going to talk BS about Moors. You're not going to talk about BS about Noble Drew Ali. You're not going to talk about BS about the Moroccan flag. None of that without us checking you people. Like, it's not going down that you not getting checked. And then we're going to listen to Negroes telling us about we're practicing division because, you know, why are you calling out your brothers? Those are my brothers. They're traitors. You people are traitors. Right? And like we were saying yesterday, we don't have the muftis to send out for these traitors right now. Like, we don't have that. Because first thing their family's going to do is go call highwaymen. And there's the same stuff that was going on in Mecca, in Chicago, around Noble Drew Ali time, people getting trumped up on charges and stuff like that because certain people needed to get checked because you're in violation, and this is Muslim law. This is Muslim law. All these so-called UDAS presidents take oath on Qurans. Don't take oath on no Christian Bible like you, because you see a book up there, you think that's Christian Bible. No, they take oath on Quran. Or they affirm. Because all these traitors, like Rusty Rawls and all the entertainment people, Ice Cube talking crazy about the Great Seal, when we know he's only mad because his 3-on-3 stuff can't go on because it ain't happening. Don't be mad. Should start your own damn league for real. Not even needing these people's stadium. Build your own goddamn stadium to go play in. Don't be mad. Yeah, Illuminati stopping your stuff. It's because you're Negro. That's why you can't do your stuff. And again, or any BS about whoever wins championship in the NBA this year won something. That's not a season. Get the hell out of here. It's not a season. You're a 22 team, whatever, and then somebody's winning something. What are you talking about? That's not real. Raptors repeated without playing. And if they played, they would have beat everybody's ass. Without Kawhi. You're playing games. You play a little game if you want to. But Moors, we don't go there with us. Right? Don't forget, rvbaypublications.com. Since he's talking about popes and all this stuff, like he knows something about some popes. Moore's responsibility here. Here sits the Pope, who came to New York, the Empire State, and sat under the Moor's head, while those who are descendants of Moors debate as to the impacting validity of the honor of their direct ancestors, the Moors. One can resist this, however, upon a real challenge, which means study. Those who try to prove facts wrong will find that they are proving them to be correct. Dumbass. Their personal acceptance is based on their willingness to take responsibility and recognize. You people gonna take any responsibility? No? Just gonna keep playing Negro, black, colored, marching up and down the place. That's what it's about. It's not about honoring your foremothers and forefathers, so your days could be long on the earthland. Who your foremothers and forefathers are Moors. Chancellor Williams told you. Dr. Ben told you. Everybody told you. George G.M. James told you. What more you want? You're everything but Moors? And then when Moors start talking, now you're making little videos and talking crazy about Moors? How you figure that? Harold. Stop playing around, Harold. Stop playing around. How's Harold Mays playing games? You're a European. You're not no Rusty Rawls. You're a European. You're Harold Mays Jr. So that means you're from you're a descendant of slave-minded people. Because Raspy and Rawls is not no indigenous name either. So FOH with that. How come the Mays coat of arms of England and Ireland has a helmet? Why does it have a helmet? How come? How come it has a helmet? We'll go to Arms and Armor in Spain, a short survey, volume 1, by Ada, A-D-A, Brun, B-R-U-H-N, de Hofmeyr. Arms and Armor. Remember, Raspy Rawls' slave name is Harold Mays. Mays comes from England and Europe and Ireland. And they have a helmet. They have a helmet on their coat of arms. In the Inventario from the Armory of the Dukes of Infantado, there are many references to armors from Calatayud. French medieval literature mentions even Tudela at the borders of the river Ebro, not far from Zaragoza, as a place famous for its manufacture of swords and helmets. Probably these manufacturers in Zaragoza and Toledo had their origin among the Moors and had worked for the Moorish court. The famous converted Moor, Julian del Rey, had worked in Zaragoza before he, as a baptized, entered the service of King Ferdinand el Cotalico. So how isn't this treason? Somebody whose name goes back to the Moors is trying to tell you that you're not Moors and don't call us Moors and all that. Isn't that treason? Like we said, you know what I mean? We have Moorish court. It says it right there that the Moors had worked for the Moorish court. The manufacturers in Zaragoza and Tudela had their origin among the Moors and worked for the Moorish court. Worked for the Moorish court. So when Moors have court and send out the muftis, people are going to be mad that they have to ride the mare of steel. Don't be mad. You shouldn't have been a traitor.
Yeah.
We're saying traitor on the most decrepit, vile level. Because what we also were talking about, what we'll get to, is this fact that everybody assumes that Moorish Science Temple of America is some religious corporation. It's not a religious corporation. How's it a religious corporation? Right? Well, we told you to do on IG because, you know, they want to talk crazy. and they want to talk about religious corporations and all this. We told you to look at the back of the 101 questionnaire called Our Authority. This is what he's trying to say is what sets up the trust. Now, how is it that Noble Drew Ali has this document called Our Authority that set up the trust, right? From 1928, August. Right? August the 1st, 1928. Noble Drew Ali set up the trust. But then Vatican City didn't set up until 1929. February. How is it that Noble Drew Ali's copying them when their stuff was founded after him? Noble Drew Ali founded the religious corporation before the Vatican founded their religious corporation, and he followed them? How? Now, what you guys probably need to do is stop smoking weed, stop drinking and stuff like that, because you're confusing people. Right? Why the Grand Sheik in Cook County, Illinois would tell you to go get a lawyer instead of giving you the writs that you're supposed to go file so that you can demand that these people send whatever it is that you're going to court for to federal court, because ain't no municipal court supposed to be hearing anything around here. But they're not going to do that because they're against RV Bay Publications, and they're against Taj Tarik Bay, and they're against any Moors who are active that's just putting out this information. Now they're going to tell you about, well, see, Noble Drew Ali set up the trust, and the trust number 1010590 filed and recorded in the religious corporation and all that. But how come they didn't tell you the bottom of Our Authority, where it says, see Heard's Revised Statute, Chapter 3236. So we go to Chapter 3236 of Heard's Revised Statute. Let's see if we could. So 3236, Heard's Revised Statute. The chairman or secretary of such meeting shall, as soon as may be after such meeting, make and file in the office of the recorder in the county in which the congregation, church, or society is organized. Congregation, church, or society. Now, if we have a flag that's recognized all around the world as the Moroccan flag, then obviously this is not a congregation, because congregations don't have flags. If we have a headwear that's recognized all around the world as Islamic, Hindu, Buddhist, and everything else, obviously this is not a church. If Noble Drew Ali told Moors, here's your nationality and identification card for the Moor Science Temple of America, and identity is recognized by nationality, then obviously this is a society. and not a congregation or a church. Now they go on to tell you that you have to just fill in the slots where whatever you're doing applies. So as you read with the I do solemnly swear and whatever like that, relate that, and then we're insert here where Noble Drew Ali inserted here. Remember, this was done before the Vatican. Remember, he's the founder of setting up religious corporation. The way that it becomes a trust. Pope didn't do that before Noble Drew Ali. So there's no way that Noble Drew Ali copied the Pope. This is the point that the master teacher, Tarik Bey, was making, that people got messed up because they don't study and they don't read. And then they're going around telling people stuff and now having those people confused as to what Noble Drew Ali did and what the Moorish Science Temple of America is. Remember, read along. I, Noble Drew Ali, and recorder, Moorish Holy Temple of Science, the meeting held at Chicago in the county of Cook and the state of Illinois on the 20th day of July, 1928. For that purpose, the following persons were appointed sheikhs, according to the rules and usages of such Moorish Holy Temple of Science, do solemnly swear that at a meeting of the members, Noble Drew Ali, Mili Il, Small Bey, Lovett Bey, and Foreman Bey, the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, deriving its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad to propagate the faith and extend the learning and truth of the great prophet of Ali in America, to appoint and consecrate missionaries of the prophet and to establish the faith of Muhammad in America. And said Moorish Holy Temple of Science adopted as its corporate name the following: Moorish Science Temple of America. And at the said meeting, this affiant acted as presiding officer, subscribed and sworn to me, 20th day of July, 1928, Noble Drew Ali, Notary Public, Roberta W. Kauno. And then it tells you, see hers revised statute. So then you go and you see that Noble Drew Ali filed the affidavit. Remember, affidavit is not a motion. Remember, they tell you up here that there's different chapters and sections. So Noble Drew Ali taking section 36 from chapter 32 was because it dealt with these grand sheiks and whoever being trustees. And the only time you have trustees is if there's a trust. But that didn't come from the Pope. That came from Noble Drew Ali. So if the Pope took the same thing that Noble Drew Ali did and created Vatican State that they got right now still today, and you're looking around and you're asking yourself, how come the Moors don't have what the Vatican had if they were the starters of the whatever? Look in a mirror, because your dumbass not being a Moor is why we don't have it. It's your dumbass listening to these other dumbasses telling you that you're black, that you're African American, you're African Canadian, and then you're going with that as your identity is why the Moors have nothing. But everywhere you look, you go in some back street of somewhere, there's a Moor street there, and a church that says Moor, and then whatever else that says Blackamoor, whoever, and street signs and Noble Drew Ali Plaza in Brownsville, and you think that Moors didn't have this stuff locked down? Like, you really think Moors didn't have this locked down? You're really under the impression that the Moor who owned Noble Drew Ali Plaza before the baseball player guy bought it, do you think Moors didn't have the stuff locked down? Why do you think Noble Drew Ali Plaza in Brownsville is called Noble Drew Ali Plaza? A Moor founded that. A Moor founded that. And Noble Drew Ali Plaza was created to honor Noble Drew Ali because the Moor was a grand sheik of a temple. Mo Vaughn, just go do your research on Noble Drew Ali Plaza. Mo Vaughn was the owner of Noble Drew Ali Plaza. Mo Vaughn, the baseball player, black guy. What do you know about owning Mo Vaughn? You missed something? You definitely missed something. And Mo Vaughn got it from a Moor, who was the Grand Sheik. There's some temple in Brownsville. And then his family were these people trying to convince you that you're not Moors and we're not Moors or whatever. We're everything else but Moors. This is what they're trying to convince you of. And you're running with it. And then you're going to call yourself Negro. And then we're supposed to take you serious that you got some knowledge. You don't got no knowledge if you're calling yourself Negro or black or colored or Aboriginal and Indigenous and autochthonous and all this. They're playing you out your birthright. Playing you out of your birthright. You have a birthright, they're playing you out of it. How are they playing you out of it? Because everybody knows the history. You can't tell me you're from Louisiana and all this, and you're not connected to the Moors. If the Whitney plantation knows you're connected to the Moors, then you can't tell me jack. The Wolof, the Moors, and the Fulbe were respectively designated as Senegal, Nard, and Poulard. Nard is the Wolof name for Moors. The Fulbe or Futa Toro call themselves Hal Pular, Pular speakers. Senegal and Poulard have retained its family names in southwest Louisiana. How don't you know that you're Moors? How are you from Louisiana? You're telling me you're not Moors. Say that again, more?
Read again what you had just mentioned about the western Louisiana. Read that again.
The Wolof, the Moors, and the Fulbe were respectively designated as Senegal, Nard, and Poulard. Nard is the Wolof name for Moors. The Fulbe of Futa Toro call themselves Hal Pular, Pular speakers. Senegal and Poulard have been retained as family names in southwest Louisiana.
Wow. Okay, that makes sense. Because you can, oh yeah, because that's Algiers. You can Google Algiers, Louisiana. It'll pop right up. That makes perfect sense. It's a beautiful YouTube video on there. When the Moabite come on, he goes, "Welcome to Algiers Point." I was like, "Yo, look at this."
Right. Algiers, Louisiana. Why is there a Algiers, Louisiana? What? People from Louisiana are trying to tell you that they're not Moors? Why? Why? Let's just see what comes up if we say Barbary, Louisiana. Let's just see if anything comes up. Barbary, Louisiana. Bayou Barbary, Louisiana. Why is there a Barbary Bayou in Louisiana if they're not Moors? Huh?
You can type in the Blackamoors, Louisiana. You can type in it. You can Google it just like that. Blackamoors, and then put Louisiana, and it's gonna pop right up. Moors fighting in Louisiana.
Blackamoor groundsmen, Louisiana. Washington.
They had some wars there too with Blackamoors. But they try to say they were some escaped slaves. But they're calling Blackamoors.
Now we wanted to make sure that we show you people why they're going against the Moors. Why are they talking crazy about Moors? Like what? How could Moors just go on Google, punch in Moors, Louisiana, and all this stuff come up, and then these people from Louisiana are trying to tell you that they're not Moors? Why? Why? We'll let Brother Yusuf speak about us doing our research for today and this site that he found with regard to our friend Raspy Rawls. This is a lot more. Counter domestic terrorism. Yo, you're muted.
So you wanted me to go ahead and go in on it?
Oh, you good? You good too? It's up. I got it up right now. I got it up.
Yeah, you can, because I had it on my phone.
Okay.
So I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's up. It's up. All right. So, Harold Mays Jr. Yeah. Harold Mays Jr., aka Raspy Rawls. This is why. Pressure bust pipes. And when these colonists step to you, right, it's different, right? Like, you see, the colonists tried to step to the Moors near Rhode Island, for example, right? And they didn't take any deals, right? They didn't take a deal. They didn't say, no, okay, we'll stop saying that we're Moors and we'll put the guns away and all that stuff. They didn't do that. They kept exercising as who they are, right? What happened to all the standing on the American banner and all that stuff? What happened to all that stuff? Foreigners would always find their own and use them against you. And the way they do that is by pressuring them. So we got them up. Counter domestic terrorism.
Yo, that's the name of the website right there. Counter domestic terrorism. Have him on a website listed as a terrorist. Underneath terrorism, he's underneath it. Stepping on the American flag. The so-called American flag, which we know as the United States banner. But stepping on it. But then, because I'm not looking at the green sheet.
Yeah, it's all good.
Scroll,
yeah, I scrolled down a bit.
He's wishy-washy because he's literally wearing the USA shirt with the flag on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's playing both sides. Playing both sides. And again, keep in mind, this is not what we're saying. So how come they didn't go at these people? How come they go in at Taj Street Bay, but they didn't go at these people who put them up on a website as counter domestic terrorism, terrorists?
Yep.
How come? Got all his history files up there, put all his information up there. Right. Didn't defend anything. Just let them put up their website. Been up. Still up there.
Been up.
Site's still up there today. And not one
So
word.
like you were saying.
Not one word is uttered from them about these Europeans putting them on blast. But they're gonna come at the master teacher. 70 plus year olds going at this elder.
Not one word about the domestic terrorism website. Nothing. No big rant. Nothing. But he can't. But again, you come cuss out your own though. You come throw your own under the bus, name calling, and we're not Moors. Noble Jew Ali was this. And you didn't say a word about these colonists who they stand up there and fight against, the whole Black Lives Matter thing and all that crap. They sit up there and fight against them, but at the same time, when they have you right on Front Street, because all you had to do is just go, it was quick, easy research on this guy.
Yeah, like we
they have him right on Front Street.
Yep.
And you didn't do anything? Nobody, no more. You act like Moors came to you on your website. They're genuine. They're trying to tell you that black stuff is what's getting you in trouble. They're trying to correct you.
Exactly.
You make it seem like somebody's trying to
do
rob
what the
you or
counter.
something. Like none of that's going on.
He's talking like Moors are trying to do what the counter domestic people are doing to him.
Right. Yeah.
That's not what we're doing. That's not our motive. Definitely not.
No, we come on your page. Come on, like he said, they come on his little platform, come on his page, and they make their little comment about us being Moors. Okay, these people made a whole page for counter domestic terrorism and have your picture on it. Moors is nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. Nothing even to do with that category. And nothing then. You didn't go to court. Nothing. Defamation of character. Nothing. These people. Nothing. Like the Green Sheik was saying earlier, pressure bust pipes, and I think somebody joined the other side.
Something happened. Something happened because they even got you down there under your favorite stuff, Kang. You're a Kang now?
Yep.
They even got you guys under your favorite moniker, that you're a Kang. And what we do, we went, did our research, and then we got the definition of Kang for you. Definition of Kang: a brick platform built across one side or end of a room in a house in northern China or Manchuria, warmed by a fire beneath and used for sleeping. That's what Kang is. Kang's not some ebonics of king. That's not what king. That's not what Kang is. Kang is some BS. That's why we say you're dumb like some bricks. Calling yourself Kang. But you're Kang, but you're not Moors. You rather be a bed, a warm bed in Manchuria than be Moors. And these are the people, because they got some front row seat at some ball game, you're taking them serious? Get the hell out my face. Get the hell out my face. And I've been hearing your hypocrisy. Wouldn't say one goddamn thing to this colonist. Got you up on their website. Making you look like a clown. Talking about your drug pass and all that.
One word. One word.
Right.
Only thing I've seen him do for his people was do that walk, that march thing for the brothers. Like nothing. He just went for a walk. Like they stood up for the brother. Remember I said I found the article. He stood up for the brother.
Yeah.
He thinks he stood up for the brother for who got rolled in the gym mat by what they would call marching. Y'all just went power walking like my mom goes around the track every day. Like y'all didn't do nothing. You went and worked them calves out. None of that. Nothing mattered. Nothing. They never do nothing to them colonizers. As soon as them colonizers do something, they go for a walk. Moors do something to them, they want to make videos. This people, they'll never go up there and put those colonizers up there, do their whole background check, name all the human trafficking things they have done to their so-called community. They'll never do none of that. None of that. But the Moors,
zero of that. Zero.
Moors, they'll call Noble Drew Ali like he's working for the Vatican. Like what?
Yeah. Why is he working for the Vatican? How you figure that?
But these people call you domestic. He got you listed underneath the domestic terrorism, and you ain't saying a word to these people yet.
Right.
And all we trying to do is tell people nationality is the order of the day. And now he's making videos about Taj and the Prophet.
Talking crazy.
And this is the guys. This is Waka's mans.
Yeah, Waka Flocka's boy.
That's bugging me out, right?
And he been on the record. I already said that we're Moors and all that. He knows we're Moors. But you're not talking BS about Waka though.
Yeah, you didn't say Waka was wrong. Waka was sounding crazy when he tweeted that we were Moors.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anything. He didn't say any of that in his video.
Nothing.
But that's his guy. That's who he was sitting front row seats with, right?
Well, here's another one for you. Here's another quote. This is what he posted. Documented account of Hernando de Soto meeting quote-unquote black Indian tribes on coastal Florida in the 1500s. There was in the first a very large black Indian of an aspect very different from those who inhabit the interior of the country. The barbarians of the coast are black in this manner, because the sun is there warmer than elsewhere, and because they are continually in the water, which is salt. For the land being dry and sterile, they are obliged to fish in order to subsist. The History of Hernando de Soto and Florida by Bernard Shipp. Now, how come none of these dumbasses who call themselves Black Indian let you know that they call you barbarians because this is Barbary? Why they always go to some racist stuff when the Europeans are telling you you're barbarians? Conan the Barbarian? You think why do you think they use Schwarzenegger to play Conan the Barbarian? Because of muscles? They use Schwarzenegger in Conan the Barbarian because the barbarians were niggers. They weren't some Europeans. And everybody in the world knows that niggers are fiction. Those people are Moors. Blacks are fiction. They're Moors. Negroes are fiction. They're Moors. Indians are fiction. They're Moors. Filipinos are fiction. They're Moros. Everybody knows. Only our people playing games. Trying to keep you in a dead status at all times. Trying to keep you in a dead status at all damn times. Islam, Juju.
Islam.
You're gonna have to unmute yourself. No, go ahead, more.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Islam. Because with his quote with the meeting of the Black Indians, BS. Okay. When we already know that they found in the museum when they opened up the vault, they opened up the case and they found the headdress of Montezuma, and it was labeled it was either up until 1526 or 1626. I forgot which year, but it was pre-1700s when it was up until that year. He was known as the Moorish king. Oh, the headdress that they found was labeled as the Moorish hat.
Yeah.
And that up until that year, Montezuma was known as the Moorish king. He's known as the Moorish king. That was known. And that the word Indian was substituted for the word Moor.
No.
Like that's documented fact. Wasn't no Black Indian nothing.
None of that. Fiction. Complete fiction. Right? That we're some Aborigine. We're not some Aborigine. We're Moors. And then they're going to show you right in your face the Floridian king of North America with his red fez on. But they're not Moors though. Why is he wearing a fez? Oh, some Congo guys wear a fez, they're Moors, but the king of North America wear a fez. Oh, he's not a Moor, he's a Black Indian? Really? How come you guys only tie the Moors to negative stuff? And then you get mad when the Moors defend stuff and say the Moors are being negative? How come you never talk about the great stuff the Moors did, like being barbarians, which means that they're from Barbary, not that they're evil cutthroat people, eating, drinking blood out of the skull and whatever like that. They're barbarians. No, that's not what it is. That's a fiction. Stop playing games with Moors. If you don't want to be Moors, cool. Shut the hell up and just shut the hell up. Don't even talk about anything. Just do what you're doing. Don't talk about anything. Don't try to be a politician. Don't try to be an intellectual scholar. None of that. When it comes to information about our people, shut the hell up. If you're going to say that Black Indians and all that, when, again, you can go to Brother Aljamir Bey's site, and he's been telling you for years. He can just start telling you, been telling you the connection that the Moors have to this side of the hemisphere. Has been telling you. Didn't just start telling you yesterday. Has been telling you. Has been. Articles upon articles telling you about Moors. Articles upon articles. Moorish America. Talking about Spaniards and Indians in Moorish America. What do you think they're saying? What are they saying?
Yeah.
What are they saying?
Islam, Green Street.
Islam more.
Now, because he had mentioned earlier about the word more in American law, right?
Yeah, he had mentioned that, yeah.
Now, I want to go over that because I'm not letting that slide.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we are in the book, in the law book, Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, with guide to pronunciation, page 1159, the word more. An officer in the Isles of Man who summons the court for several settings. The office is similar to the English bailiff of 100. Okay. So an officer in the Isles of Man. So I went and did the research on the origin of the Isles of Man, right? So in the Etymology Dictionary by Nathan Daly, published by Assertively and Tilden Foundation in 1899. This is their Etymology Dictionary. On the word Moors, says, in the Isles of Man, the bailiff or the lord of a manor, and manor is spelled M-A-N-O-R. So Moors are the bailiffs or the lords of a manor. So the lord of a manor. So, you already got to know what's the definition of a manor. So we already know that the Moor, by definition, is related to the Lord. Okay? That's what they're saying. Because the Isles of Man, when you look up in the Etymology Dictionary of Nathan Daly, published in 1899 by the Assertively and Tilden Foundation, the word Moors, M-O-O-R-S, in the Isles of Man, the bailiff or the lord of a manor. Now we look up manor, right? Now, manor, this is coming out of the Webster's New International Dictionary with reference in history, published in 1906, says a manor, noun, Middle English, manor, Old French, manere, habitation, so the lord of habitation, or the lord of a village, because it says habitation or village. It says Old French, manere, to stay, remain, to dwell, right? And the first definition, right, it says the house or the hall of an estate, a mansion. So the Moor, or in Black's Law Dictionary, which says the Isles of Man. So then when you go, the officer of the Isles of Man, when you look up officer of the Isles of Man in the Etymology Dictionary, it says Moor. And then it says the lord of a manor, which a manor is the lord of a hall of an estate. Don't we always talk about that?
Mm-hmm.
So by definition, the Moor is the lord of the estate. Okay. Then, right? I'm just going to skip down to number 4 because he said in American law. The definition, number 4, American law. In American law. So we know that a bailiff goes to the Lord again, the Lord. So American law, the lord of a tract of land occupied by tenants who pay a fee, rent, to the proprietaire, specifically in New York. See, that's the other thing. These Europeans supposed to be paying taxes to Moors. Again, that's American law. American law. The lord of the tract of land. That's the Moors, the Isles of Man. Again, that's a Moor in Etymology Dictionary by Nathan Bailey, published in 1899. The Isles of Man is a Moor, which means a lord or a bailiff of a tract of land. In American law, it means of a tract of land with tenants on it who pay rent to the proprietaire. The proper people who's supposed to get paid the rent, which would be the Moors, the lords. But because we don't want to be the manors or the Moors of the lords of the estate, and nothing's happening. Nothing's going on. Nothing. Your Negro colored black. We're obsolete. Nothing. We're going to continue going through this. So there goes his other answer for what is a Moor. Well, not even his answer, because he just lied and said more than nothing. Like, we're not in law. Like, we just made this up. So I just broke it down to you in Black's Law Dictionary, and then brung it to Nathan Bailey Etymology Dictionary, and then brung it to the Webster's Unabridged Dictionary. It shows you who the Moors was and the lords of the land in the state, all of that, right in the dictionary. When they be saying,
not only that,
go ahead, Grand Sheik.
Not only that, the Moor is the one who's summoning. The Moor is the one who's serving. He's not. Read the definition of the Moor of the Moor again.
An officer in the Isles of Man who summons the courts for the several sheddings.
Who summons the court? When you get a summon, that's for you, personal, the individual. Who the hell are you if you have the power to summon the court? He's not summoning the king. He's not summoning the jester. He's not summoning the guy over there who's wagging around over somebody's foot or whatever. The Moor summons the court. If the court's on the land of the Lord, that would mean the court should probably pay up, right? If the Lord of the land is doing the summoning, then the people out here who are giving you summons, they're pretending to be Moors. Stole your birthright because you want to be Indian. You want to be black. You want to be colored. You want to be Kangs. You want to be a Kang and give up your birthright. Now you're getting summoned. Now you're getting summoned. You want to be bricks. And don't know why people treat you like you're dumb. You don't know? Like 3,400 views talking crazy. Right. Now how about this one? You're watching the thing right now?
No, not right now.
Okay, so how about this one?
Right
I got
now.
all right. Yeah, let me get your thoughts on this one. Ice Cube, the high cost of racism. Blacks in America should be exempt from paying any taxes for 462 years. This would help to start repairing the damage done to us by America. Our bill is paid by now. No more. No more MORE. Like,
He said no more. No, what you say?
yeah, he said no more at the end of it, but MORE. No more.
Okay.
This is the game. This is the game that they're playing.
Right.
And you're telling me about why am I defensive? I know MORE means more too. I'm not dumbass like you people. I know exactly what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then right after that, Raspy is putting up there about the American law defines Indian as an aboriginal inhabitant of the North American continent before European contact. And Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3 said Indians not taxed. You're not Indian. What don't you get? Indians not taxed because they're not citizens. They're property. Same thing with the black guys. But if you're begging to be in the game, then why wouldn't they rape you? You're begging to be in it. You're not supposed to be taxed, but you're begging them to give you something because they put you in slavery. Okay, so then you're saying that you're down. You're saying that you agree. If this is your land, you wouldn't be calling yourself Indians because this is not India. If you want to be Indians, go to India. No, well, American law said, what do you mean American law? What do you mean? When you say American law, what do you mean by American? Because if American is the Aboriginal and indigenous people of the planet who were found on this continent before Europeans came here, and those people who were found here were copper colored. When you say American law, are you referring to the law that was here before the European? Or are you referring to the Europeans creating a law? And that's what you're calling American law. Because you can't be talking about American law defines Indians, but then you're trampling up and down on the American banner. That's called a contradiction. Because only Negroes do that. Only Negroes do that. Wipe their ass with a banner and think that they're doing something against the government. That's a banner. What do they care what you do? You just walk on it, burn it, shit on it, eat off of it, wipe your mouth with it. Whatever you want to do with it, you can do it as a banner. What do they care? You're still getting choked out in the street. You still have the highest unemployment rate. You still have the lowest grade from 0 to university. Unless you go to a prestigious black college where they're going to train you to be a good nigger to go build up the system that's against your people. And then you're out here mad because people did something with their life, went to school or whatever. Why are you mad? Well, they're mad because they don't want to be nigger. They wanted the white picket fence and stuff like that. You're mad? They're not our brothers and sisters. No, those aren't the ones that are your brothers and sisters. The ones that aren't your brothers and sisters are the ones telling you that you're not Moors. Those are the ones that are the traitors. The ones of you like, you know, any person that you would say is a Uncle Tom or, they weren't a white man, whatever like that. No, they just wanted better for their life. Why don't you want better for your life? Why do you want to be a Negro? Mad. Don't be mad. Proclaim, declare who you are. Stop playing around with the people.
Islam Granchi.
Islam more.
Yep, just real quick, because he keeps killing it. He keeps killing himself, mentioning terms, mentioning words like law.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when we go look at law, and you're still using Black Indian or black people and Black Lives Matter, because we when you do the research, he promotes that Black Lives Matter BS crap. And so, but you mentioned law, so we're gonna go to law again. And black person, and Henry Campbell's Black Law Dictionary, 4th edition, page 214. Black person. It says, quote unquote, black person, comma. We're just gonna go in on black person. So we're gonna look up person, straight to person. Persons on page 1300. We're gonna go right to the persons. Persons are of two kinds, natural and artificial. A natural person is a human being. An artificial person includes a collection or succession of natural persons forming a corporation, a collection of property to which the law attributes the capacity of having rights and duties. So they don't have their inalienable rights. They have privileges. Again, the later class of artificial persons is recognized only to limited extent in our law. Examples are the estate of a bankrupt or a deceased person. I thought that was interesting because the prophet says, according to science, black means death.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Deceased is definitely death.
So when they keep continuously calling themselves black, and they're wondering why things are happening to them, because they automatically put themselves into a collection of property. Now, then we go in on what is property. Property is something that somebody owns, and whatever they want to do to the property, nothing can happen to, if I just threw my notebook across the floor right now, nobody can call highwayman and say notebook lives matter. That can't happen. But that's what is, what Moore's been saying for years. That's the same thing Moore's been saying for years. You guys are calling yourselves property, and then gonna sit up here and say somebody owes you 453 years of something. Nobody owes you nothing. You're property. You're the notebook. I can throw my notebook. Boom. I don't owe my notebook anything.
And let's just say somebody does. Let's just say somebody does call the highwayman because you threw your notebook across the stuff. How are you looking at those people?
Right.
Let's say people are marching up and down the place because Yusuf threw his notebook and the spine got broke when he threw it against the wall. And then people are marching up and down talking about notebook lives matter.
Yep. Yep.
How serious are you gonna take these people?
Yeah. Walk around with shirts with pictures of notebooks on it.
Yeah.
Come on. And that's what it's not, oh, well, you know what I mean. No. No, that's not how the world doesn't talk in general terms in slang. And I was telling my mom about that. Like, that's what they're teaching in these schools, to accept general terms.
Right.
You know, like they would send home a paper for my son, and the paragraph it would say, you know, Elizabeth was born, you know, in such and such. You know, like in Massachusetts. Elizabeth was born in Massachusetts. What is Massachusetts in the context of the paragraph? And you would say, you know, the land where she was born at, you know, and because that's the way in the context of the paragraph. But then, if I told my son, well, what does Massachusetts mean in the dictionary? It don't say nothing about no land.
Right.
You know what I mean? Go straight to Massachusetts Bay Company. You know, like, and it starts breaking down all of that. But because of the connotators, you know, the way we call it, it's slang. It's really slang, and we can't think that we can use, because when I say, okay, like when I use my example, I said, so if I wrote a paragraph and said, oh, John was wearing some hot shoes, everybody looking at me like, oh, you know, you can't talk like that. Oh, so we picking and choosing when we
want to do it. Yeah.
Like you can't do that. You can't, because hot in the dictionary means this. But how did I use it in this context? You can't say that. That's incorrect. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and that's what they're teaching in these schools, and that's what they have been doing for hundreds of years. And people are just accepting these slang ways of the words, and then acting like it doesn't mean nothing.
It's just like the thing. It's just like the thing they're doing right now with the NBA and the bubble.
Say that again?
The NBA, starting up the NBA, but everybody's gonna play in the bubble, and then people who want to be in the bubble and people who don't want to be in the bubble.
Right.
And the bubble is that collective NBA consciousness of whatever that is. And there's ones that are saying, nah, I'm not with the bubble shit. Like, I'm not going. Because what do you mean by bubble? What are you talking about?
That's crazy.
What type of witchcraft are you people doing? And interestingly, it's, you know, LeBron's in and then Kyrie's out.
Oh, wow.
The indigenous guy is saying, hold on a second, let's think about this. And then the corporate guy's like, yeah, let's go. Let's do it. We need to play right now because we haven't played in 6 months.
Yeah. Playing a bubble.
Right. Now check this one. Check this
now,
one now.
Now you're just really hamsters. Now you're hamsters. You're people's pets. You're not even.
Yeah, you're definitely a pet. You're definitely a pet right now.
Like a pet now.
Yeah, you're definitely a pet now. At this point, you're a pet.
Like, yeah, I can see like the water bottles. You ever seen I had a hamster. You hook up the little water thing to the cage.
Oh, nobody can touch. Nobody can touch.
That's how I'm looking at it. You're in a bubble. Like, recess time, you get to go play in your little ball, get to roll around in the kitchen, you know what I mean? In the bubble. It's the same thing, man.
Playing people. But this is the one here.
It's the Seinfeld thing too.
I was just thinking about that. I was just thinking about that. Might as well pull that up.
Because those are the mocks, the mooks or whatever.
Yeah.
Those are the mooks playing in the bubble. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Hold on. Peace, Mark.
Islam, brother.
Islam, yo, what you said?
Man, I know you don't be never coming across that Waffle channel, that one weird ass.
Hold on, you know we're live right now, right? We're live right now.
We live? Okay,
Yeah,
but you don't The Remedy 8, the guy, brother.
The who?
The guy that y'all be talking crazy about. We got a lot of people confused, man. Talking to, he's coming with some shit talking about, I don't know, saying more help take down the earth.
Who you talking about? Who you talking about?
He go by Remedy 8. Got some videos, Remedy 8. I was thinking if you had ever seen it, brother.
Nah, not even. Not even. Never heard about that ever.
He needed a good spanking. He needed to be woken up. Like he always double talk. You know, he got a good double talk.
Yeah, we've been on here. We've been on here beating up Rusty Rawls for the past hour. For the same stuff.
Okay.
Talking crazy about the prophet and disentage and all this. Confusing people. You know. But yeah, man, I hit you up later.
Getting paid, man.
Yeah, yo. Unless you're chilling, but I hit you up later. If you want, you could chill.
All right, it's fine, boy.
Yeah, all right. All right. Now this is the one here that I found interesting. Before we give honors to the moops. This one was interesting. Now here,
I love how Morris call in and give you the heads up before they have to put their hands on them. Like, yo, talk to this man before I have to put my hands on him.
I tell you, the muftis are ready. The muftis are ready. The muftis are ready. There's muftis who are ready. They want to go check some people for real. Now check this one now.
I don't know what side you're on, so put him on real quick.
Check this one. Check this one. Raspy Rawls. Tomorrow at the Learn Up class, we will break this down in depth. There are more layers to this than I ever publicly spoken about so far. But you spelled more M-O-O-R.
Yeah.
People playing games with y'all. People playing games with you. How is he going to talk against Moors, but then make reference to more layers and spell more M-O-O-R?
Remember.
Come on, yo.
Organized domestic terrorism group.
Yeah.
But then now he's coming at Taj.
Not making no jokes about the domestic terrorism group. But 70-plus-year-old elder, he's gonna go at him. Trying to make a name for himself.
Even deeper than, why didn't you do it in depth research on that website that made that terrorism organization website on you? Who's responsible for that website? You should be doing it, because they're coming at your integrity. They're coming at you, your manhood, who you are as an individual. You have not checked these people. You're exposing yourself by your actions. Like it's looking real unhealthy the way he's moving. Because we can tell, like, you're doing this for, he's going inside an interview. Let me just attack the Moors, get my views up.
Get my views up and I'll be straight. Yep. Get my views up, I'll be straight.
Because what you just read to me, I was like, man, that sounds like a sales pitch.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be deeper. It's more information than I thought. Man, if I'm being held hostage or something like that, because we're looking at this, our people not having a nationality and birthright, like it's the most, this is a dire life and death situation. When we talking about nationality being the order of the day. But him going up there, cluing and it's going to be even deeper than I thought. Like, tune in to the next. This is a life and death situation. Why you tune in to the next episode to get the real, if it's really that serious?
Where's that stuff right now?
Look at this as you right then and then.
Right now.
Why are you playing games?
Yeah. Playing games.
We're looking at this like life and death. He's over here playing commercial games.
And if you're gonna,
they expose themselves.
Yep. Right? You know about Steve Coakley and all that, and you're playing games with colonists. You're not doing anything to defend these Europeans throwing you under the bus, but you're talking crazy about Moors? Talking crazy about Moors, huh? These people are selective in their stuff. Don't get caught up with them in their BS, because they're not looking out for the people. They're not. We know they're not. Right? We know they're not. Right? Let's just school you quick fast, Ice Cube, since you think this is Illuminati or whatever. Let's school you quick fast. The Secrets of Freemasonry, Pat Morgan. The pyramid, a symbol of hierarchy, important to Freemasonry, but also the United States. The pyramid in the Great Seal is incomplete. The work of the founding fathers was also unfinished, for much remained to be done in the fledgling nation. The West had yet to be fully explored. For example, take a close look at the western side of the pyramid. It's dark, mysterious, and unknown. The triangle, certainly, the three-sided shape has great significance for Freemasons, as we have seen. It also happens to be the natural shape of the top of a pyramid, and it often represents the Christian idea of the Holy Trinity: God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. The all-seeing eye, the Freemasons are watching you, it would suggest. They spy on every aspect of your life and are attempting to control your thoughts and deeds. But the all-seeing eye is a symbol of the deity which found the Christian symbolic imagery centuries before the very first speculative Masonic lodges were formed. It was, and still is, a symbol of an omnipresent, omniscient God. Novus Order Seclorum does not mean New World Order, but a new order of the ages. Novus Order Seclorum does not mean New World Order. So stop giving your birthright, your pyramid, you're the Kangs, but then you're going to talk about pyramids Illuminati? Since when? I thought the Kangs built the pyramids. Oh, that's not the same pyramid. That's the pyramid of the symbology of, no, it's the same pyramid. Stop the BS. Whether it's on land, whether it's on paper. Pyramid means the ancient mound builders, because dirt was here before people started carving rocks. Dirt was here. As above, so below. Pyramids represent death and life. But we'll go a little bit deeper. The Secret Destiny of America, Manly P. Hall. Secret Destiny of America, Manly P. Hall. Chapter 18, the symbols of the Great Seal of the U.S. Here is represented the Great Pyramid of Giza, composed of 13 rows of masonry, showing 72 stones. 13, 72, which is mother. The pyramid is without a capstone, and above its upper platform floats a triangle containing the all-seeing eye surrounded by rays of light. You see that, right? Now, this is what they're saying F to. This is what they're putting up the middle finger to. So, you know, these people playing you out your own stuff. Playing you out your stuff to have you get played out your stuff, and then only you go to hell because they're already there. Don't care about you. This design was not pleasing to Professor Charles Eliot Norton of Harvard. He summed up his displeasure in the following words: The device adopted by Congress is practically incapable of effective treatment. It can hardly, however artistically treated by the designer, look otherwise than a dull emblem of Masonic fraternity. The quotation is from the History of the Seal of the United States. If incapable of artistic treatment, the Great Seal is susceptible of profound interpretation. The Pyramid of Giza was believed by the ancient Egyptians to be the shrine tomb of god Hermes, or Thoth, the personification of universal wisdom. No trace has ever been found of the capstone of the Great Pyramid. A flat platform about 30 feet square gives no indication that this part of the structure was ever otherwise finished. And this is appropriate as the pyramid represents human society itself, imperfect and incomplete. The structure's ascending converging angles and faces represent the common aspiration of humankind. Above floats the symbol of the esoteric orders, the radiant triangle with its all-seeing eye. The triangle itself is in the shape of the Greek letter D, a delta, the first letter of the name of God, the divine part of nature completing the works of men. The 72 stones are the 72 arrangements of the Tetragrammaton, or the four-lettered name of God in Hebrew. These four letters can be combined in 72 combinations, resulting in what is called shem foresh, which represents in turn the laws, powers, and energies of nature by which the perfection of man is achieved. The pyramid then is the universal house, and above its unfinished apex is the radiant emblem of the great architect of the universe. There is a legend that in the lost Atlantis stood a great university in which originated most of the arts and sciences of the present race. The university was in the form of an immense pyramid with many galleries and corridors, and on the top was an observatory for the study of the stars. The temple to the sciences in old Atlantis is shadowed forth in the seal of the new Atlantis. Was it the society of the unknown philosophers who sealed the new nation with the eternal emblems, that all the nations might know the purpose for which the new country had been founded? The obverse of the Great Seal has been used by the Department of State since 1782, but the reverse was not cut at that time because it was regarded as a symbol of a secret society and not the proper device for a sovereign state. Quite rare are discoveries of the use of this symbol in any important form until recent years. Most American citizens learned for the first time what was designed on the reverse of their seal when it appeared on the dollar bill in 1935. The Secret Destiny of America, Manly P. Hall. So what we've come to the conclusion is outlined in the good Dr. Amos Wilson's book, African-Centered Consciousness versus the New World Order. Page 98. At this time, it is worthwhile to read a bit about demonic possession. It is interesting to look at the literature in possession. We have a couple types of possession. One is called somnambulistic possession, somnus, in this instant having to do with sleep You hear it in the brand Sominex. Ambulistic, to move around, ambulatory. So we're talking about people who are sleepwalking. They're not awake, but they're walking around. The body is moving. It is walking in an organized fashion and walking systematically, but the person is still asleep. In somnambulistic possession, the individual's original self has been repressed and replaced, and he identifies with the spirit that possesses him. His I and the spirit's I are one and the same. We have a lot of that here today, where the spirit has been implanted in us. We have taken to be us and we're identified with it. This is why in defending ourselves, we end up defending the people who rule over us. In defending our ego, we end up maintaining the social structure which has destroyed our ego to begin with. You see it in our youngsters who will fight and kill in the name of respect and fight because their egotistic orientation has been insulted. Therefore, in defending their ego, they do not kill who destroyed their ego. They kill each other and maintain the ones who destroyed them in the first place in power. Amos Wilson, African-Centered Consciousness and the New World Order. They're possessed. They're asleep. Now, this is the other part of it. Self-hatred as a white defense mechanism. Self-hatred is a personality configuration. It is a form of personality organization. It is an orientation toward the world and toward oneself. Self-hatred, then, is the white man's greatest protection against being destroyed by the black man. To a good extent, self-hatred is the white man's defense mechanism, the white man's form of self-defense. How can we say that? To a great extent, one function of the personality is to direct energy, to direct aggression, to channel aggression, energy, wishes, and impulses in particular directions, to organize feelings, to organize energy, to achieve certain ends. Those things that we hate, often when we are angry or hostile, we aggress against them. We often attack them. We destroy them. We have a problem then, don't we, if we attack the things we hate, if we attack the things toward which we hold hostility when we are overly frustrated and when we are angry. Then what happens if the thing that we hate is ourselves? These people would make you destroy yourself. You better hear what Moors are saying. Because it's not like, there's no time left and all that stuff. Well, you got time. You got lifetimes to figure this stuff out. Or you could do yourself a favor, figure this stuff out now and not have any issues. It's a lot more. You have anything to add on?
Yeah, I wanted to read an article to continue on what you were just reading at the end there.
Yeah.
This article called Exploring Your Mind. When ignorance talks, intelligence laughs. It says sometimes when people remain silent in the face of criticism, envy, or provocation, it's not for a lack of argument or a lack of courage. It's just that when ignorance talks, intelligence stays quiet, laughs, and walks away. However, we all know that keeping calm when you receive criticism or scorn isn't exactly easy. According to a study published in the USA Today, 70% of people feel hurt by criticism, 20% face it and reject it angrily, and only 10% reflect it and let it go when it reflects nothing but ignorance. One of the reasons why it is so difficult to accept criticism is that people need to feel accepted and reaffirmed. Criticism is the loss of this subtle personal balance stitched together by pride. But when criticism is based on profound ignorance, there's no risk to your self-concept. We should accept that some arguments simply aren't worth it. When there are ears that don't listen and narrow minds that can't be changed by explanation, it's better to stay quiet, laugh, and let it go. Let's start off by the meaning of ignorance. We don't mean a lack of culture or knowledge. The most pernicious kind of ignorance is the kind that lacks the intimacy, empathy, and sensitivity to put oneself in the other person's shoes. The kind that likes to pass to contemptuous value judgments. The highest level of ignorance is when you reject something that you know nothing about. Look at that. Say that again.
Yeah, say that again.
The highest level of ignorance is when you reject something that you know nothing about. When you even know that you're missing facts or information, but you prefer to dedicate your effort towards maintaining your position rather than finding the information. These attitudes are the seed of intolerance and rudeness, which most of us have experienced in ourselves at some point. The most complicated part is that sometimes ignorance exists in our closest circles, in fathers, mothers, and other close family members who judge everyone else without knowing or bothering to learn about their interests or needs. In these cases, of course, intolerance, criticism, and offenses really hurt. That just reminded me of when Moors try to go wake up their consanguinity and, we end up getting cussed out or nobody want to go hear about it and all of that. That's the whole, again, the intelligence should laugh at their ignorance.
Yeah.
It says, but with time, wounds heal, and you mature, and finally come to understand many things. You understand that people don't change, and that people don't move from ignorance to knowledge because they don't want to.
Read that
in
again.
the face of all these, okay. But with time, wounds heal, and you mature, and finally come to understand many things. You understand that people don't change, and that people don't move from ignorance to knowledge because they don't want to. In the face of all these behaviors, there's no other option than to accept that the battle is lost. Keep your dignity and keep calm your soul, and calm your soul. Understand that in the end, it's better to stay quiet, smile with intelligence, and put distance between you and them. When intelligence is obligated to react, it's not always possible or right to choose silence in the face of contempt and wrongdoing. Sometimes intelligence is obligated to react in order to defend its integrity. Because sometimes it's necessary to raise your voice assertively, securely, and courageously to make it clear where your limits are. It's good to react in the following situations. In the face of manipulators, when the voice of ignorance crosses the border of respect and uses disparagement to define themselves and acquire power, you have to act.
Yeah, read that one again too. Read that one again too. That's exactly why we, RV Bay, all the active Moors, Taj, Hakeem, you know what I mean, Fonteas, whoever, all the mothers out there, all the Moors in the chat, all the people who trying to put this word out. That's why we do what we do. Because we're not gonna stand around and have people push their ignorance. Be the manipulators. Yeah, read that again. Read that again.
Call them straight up. In the face of manipulators, when the voice of ignorance crosses the border of respect. Okay. It is not. Yeah. In the face of manipulators, when the voice of ignorance crosses the border of respect and uses disparagement to define themselves and acquire power, you have to react. You never have to let a manipulator assume control. As soon as possible, cut off their comments.
That's some Facebook IG talk right there. YouTube, as soon as possible, cut off their comments.
As soon as they're talking crazy. Cut off their comments, their insults, and their biting sarcasm at the first hint of it. There are also too many professional humiliators in the world. People who seek to humiliate others, both in public and private, to gain power. The root of this behavior on occasion is envy. That just reminded me of the prophet when he was said, there's a host of jealousy about me in the movement now. Yeah. And immediately when she goes on the envy, the root of this behavior, when people try to humiliate the prophet, and try to publicly and privately humiliate the prophet, the prophet told you, it's the jealousy of the movement. They just say it's like, I'm like, wow, you seem like you've been reading something. But it's just what it is. It's just what it is. That's what it is. Yeah. It's not even about reading. That's just what it is. It says you can't beat a humiliator by humiliating them, shouting at them, or being violent. The thing that conquers them is indifference, which shows them that they have no power over you. You make it clear what you think of their behavior once and for all. Be direct, maintain eye contact, and be assertive. Later, if they continue with the attitude, show them that what they do and say doesn't affect you, that they have no influence over you. To conclude, we all know that the most harmful kind of ignorance can plant seeds along your path. Look at that. We all know that the most harmful kind of ignorance can plant seeds along your path. When they start, causing the confusion, and then Moors, turbans and feathers on, over there falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Yeah. Falling for, these people are purposely doing what you're doing, and you fell for the trap. Like, you just fell for that. That's the most harmful kind of ignorance, because now you just fell for it. That's the most harmful kind, when they're ignorance has manipulated you. All right. To conclude, we all know that the most harmful kind of ignorance can plant seeds along your path. But it's nothing but a weed. Think hard about which battles are worth waging and which aren't, because the most important thing is to preserve your inner peace. Be skillful, be prudent, and understand that narrow minds never understand big dreams, and that some ears are deaf to intelligent words. That's it right there. And the article. It's called When Ignorance Talks, Intelligence Laughs.
Yep. Yeah, I had it up there while you were reading.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm bugging out.
You hit the nail. They hit the nail, yo. They hit the nail.
Yep.
Ignorance been talking. And what's intelligence been doing? It's been laughing at these niggas. Playing games with the prophet.
Yep.
Playing games.
Exactly. That's the other thing. When they be like, when more say, yo, the world is just laughing at us. They literally they are.
Yeah.
We just read it.
Literally.
They're laughing at us. They're laughing at us.
So stop listening to the incompetent people.
Right. Yep. Because they're laughing at us because we're ignorant. Literally. That's what it says.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Yep.
Intelligence laughs when ignorance talks. All that Black Lives Matter, that ignorant talk, you're getting laughed at.
Yeah.
When you're over there talking about we were kings, that ignorant talk, you're getting laughed at.
Yep.
When you're over there talking about 400 years we went to slavery, that ignorant talk, you're getting laughed at.
Salam to all the Moors worldwide.
It's love.
Yeah, we just had to get that out, you know, and laugh at some ignorance. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. You got any closing comments?
Yeah, Islam to all the Moors in the chat. Give thanks to the Green Sheik and the Canaanland Moors for their platform. Honest to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And let's give honest to the mothers too. Islam.
Supreme honors to all the mothers. Supreme honors to the mothers. Straight up thanks for everything. You know, without mothers, it wouldn't be going down. It wouldn't be going down. We wanted to just give you a reminder, just so you know, just so you don't forget. Just so you don't forget. Peace and love to all the Moors everywhere you're at. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Don't forget. Don't forget.
And that was the Toronto Raptors making history. NBA champs for the first time, 24 years in the making. A golden moment for Toronto and for Canada, of course. And just how fitting. The last basket made by the king of the North himself. That's Kawhi Leonard. And
just remember, don't forget. It's not over until it's over. It's been over. Peace and love to all.
Curry lets it fly. Canada, the NBA title is yours.
And that was the Toronto Raptors making history. NBA champs for the first time, 24 years in the making. A golden moment for Toronto and for Canada, of course. And just how fitting. The last basket made by the king of the North himself. That's Kawhi Leonard. And that is how fans reacted. No restraint, all joy. How can you possibly blame them? This is the National. And
okay, let's talk about the other bit of news from the night, and that is a city basking in glory. Let's talk about the game itself, right? It was as close as you can get right down to the very last second. Goes without saying, Oracle Arena was hostile territory for Toronto, and Warriors fans came prepared to see their team survive. The Raptors answer, a really fast start.
Lowry gets it to Pascal. What a great sign for Pascal Siakam.
Right out of the gate, they develop a 9-point lead, but the Warriors, defending champs, they were not about to back down, and that lead just kept trading back and forth right through the second quarter.
Iguodala afraid it's good. A 1-point lead for Golden State.
In the third, as Golden State pulled ahead, a play that seemed like deja vu for Warriors fans.
On the run, Thompson, and Green commits a foul.
Another one of their superstars down. Klay Thompson carried off the floor out for the game after what looked like a bad knee injury. Then comes down to the last minutes of the game. The Raptors make their final push.
Van Vliet. What a step back, and he drills a three.
And with just seconds left, it all comes down to one final shot.
114-110. Curry lets it fly. Canada, the NBA title is yours.
A victory Canada is not going to forget anytime soon. Now let's take another look at another moment of glory for the King of the North, Kawhi Leonard. He has been a machine this entire playoff series, and tonight he was rewarded in more ways than one. He was named the Finals MVP for the second time in his career.
Your 2019 Bill Russell Finals MVP is Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi, congratulations. Kawhi, throughout the course of this series,